Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing on this Saturday evening? It's your boy Mike D, aka DDE8, aka 13 Wonder of the World. So nice to hear from y'all. Come visit y'all. Y'all visit me on the Point of View. Shout out to the Point Place family. Shout out to Bobby Reezy. Shout out to M Breezy. Shout out to Naya. Shout out to my sister. I love all y'all. Thank y'all for joining me on the Point of View on this Saturday evening. A lot of stuff to talk about. Duke versus North Carolina, college basketball, NBA as well. Lakers and Knicks are right now in a dog fight. Warriors and Hawks are right now in a dog fight. Giannis and the Mavericks are going at it. Uh, Duke and North Carolina was a great game today. North Carolina beat Duke. So we saw Duke lose to North Carolina. Uh, AEW Collision is on right now. So far, the show has been okay. Big wins by Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson, of course. Those are the two guys that are probably going to end up fighting for um, the AEW Continental Championship, which is three belts in one. We'll see what happens with that as well. Dweeb is going up against Queen Ananada right now. Um, when I watched them last week, Serena Deeb had a great match. Queen Alanada was on Ring of Honor, and she won her match. So this is what they do, folks. And I don't know if they want to spoil their business, but this is what they do in AEW when they have Collision. And I seen this live. The show starts at 7 on TNT. They had the TNT cameras in for the air. What they do is they have at 6 o'clock, it's not Collision. At 6 o'clock, it's one half of Ring of Honor, which they tape for an hour because Ring of Honor is taped. They go with the live Collision, and then after Collision is gone off, after Tony Khan comes out and talks, then they tape the other hour of Ring of Honor from the same city. So they have over 4 hours of wrestling. And they used to do this when they were doing AEW Dark Elevation because they would tape Dark Elevation before Dynamite. And then after they do Dynamite, then they would do Rampage for an hour. So you're there for at least 4 hours watching AEW wrestling. Is it too long? Yes, it can be. But is it exciting? Yes, it's very exciting. Very fun to watch that. So that's what it is. Um, Keep me in prayer, strength. Still going through a hard time, folks. Real hard. But in God, everything will be all right. You know, I'm not going to give up on him. In fact, I'm going to church tomorrow to talk to the good Lord. You know, that's what I got to do. Got to talk to the good Lord, folks, because you can't make it without the good Lord. And, you know, back to SmackDown last night, what I was saying after I watched it go off the air, it was a shame what they did to Cody Rhodes. I feel bad for Cody Rhodes still because he doesn't get to tell his story at WrestleMania. He won the Royal Rumble. He's got to have a title match. So I think that it's going to be him versus Seth Rollins versus somebody else for the World Heavyweight title. I think you take the belt off of Seth because Seth has had a great run with it. But then you figure out a way to get back with Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns is the only person, that's fitted to lose to Cody. Because here's what's going to happen at WrestleMania. And I want people to understand why I'm saying this. When WrestleMania is over, Rock's going to be gone. You're not expecting Rock to win the undisputed Universal Heavyweight title unless he's going to come in, take it for at least a month, and lose the title back to Roman Reigns. That's the thing that can happen. All right. If Cody was to go up against Roman at the Elimination Chamber and win, this is still one of my scenarios. But from what I've heard, he's not a part of the Elimination Chamber, which he should be. He should be because that's where he needs to be. That's the first thing. Second of all, suppose he does win. Suppose they do have a match at the Elimination Chamber and he does win Cody. Then Rock and Roman will fight for just a match. That's it. That's it. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying that's what I think it should be when it comes to that. Serena Dweeb just beat Queen Aminata. The main event tonight is FTR and Danny Garcia against Christian's Coalition. I think that's the name again. He had that once time before. But it's Christian, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne, the Prodigies, or whatever they call themselves, against FTR and Daniel Garcia. They're talking like they want to go up against either the Acclaim or the Bullet Club Gold for the 6-person tag team titles. That could possibly happen for them. Maybe it might happen. I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm going off what they're saying here on AEW Collision tonight from Texas. Last week it was from Louisiana. And coming up next, Red Velvet in action. Red Velvet won last week in her match on Ring of Honor after AEW Collision went off the air. But with that being said, folks, back to this Rock Roman Cody situation. You could make it a triple threat and could have Cody win by pinning Roman in a triple threat. Cody looked like he was sad when he found out that he was not going to WrestleMania. I think you still try to figure out a way to put him in. He's a Royal Rumble winner. He is going to fight for a title, a world title. So he's going to fight against Seth Rollins. My thing is this. Seth Rollins has never beaten Cody Rhodes. So what does this mean if this happens? Does Cody win the match? Or does Seth loses the match? No, that's a big question. I mean, or does Seth win or lose or Cody win? If that happens, it's a big possibility that could possibly happen. With that being said, folks, I've been thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking about my next move. not only in life, not only in friendships and things like that, but also with people that are in my circle. And some people, let me tell you this, and I want to tell you this because somebody called me today with some foolishness, and I'm finna break it down. I'm not gonna say no names, but I'm gonna break down what I told them. I told them, why dwell on the past? Whatever happens in the past, let it stay in the past. You're in the future and the present. You live for the present. You don't live for the past. And when people don't want to be around or nothing like that, you just don't mess with them. You just don't mess with them. You just try to figure out another way to channel that energy that's off at times, you know. Swerve Strickland's out to the ring, folks, and Prince Nala just did his famous dance. And Swerve is a guy that I think should be the first black AEW champion in my book. I think you go with Swerve versus Joe, and then, give him the flower. Give Swerve Strickland what he needs. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Somebody called me today, and they were with nothing but straight negative energy. And it was a female, um, somebody that was asking me a question about something, somebody that I hadn't talked to in a long time. And the question was, do I feel like we accomplished everything while we were together? And she called me out the blue. So she said she felt like what happened between us was some unresolved issues. And I don't want to get into the unresolved issues because the unresolved issues that happen, and you asked, why am I talking about this on a sports cast? I'm just saying this because I want to clear my chest on something in my head. I say, if it was unresolved, then, it was unresolved because we did not finish the story that we had. Everybody's in wrestling talking about finishing their story. I've not finished my story, but I don't want to finish that story because that story was nothing but pure hell. And I don't want to go through that anymore. And I don't want to put nobody through pure hell. Whoever, what I'm saying, people that I talk to in my circle, I try not to put them through hell. A lot of people think that I'm hard to talk to. I'm very easy to talk to. I just don't like nonsense. The nonsense is what the problem is. The nonsense and the pettiness is the problem. That's all. Other than that, we could talk. Yeah, I'm gonna disagree on certain things that be said, but that don't mean that I gotta stop being your friend. Stop being down with you. That's not the case. I don't want to be in that situation where people don't respect what you say or what you got to give. Because everybody got something to offer. Whether people think it's bad or good, people still have things to offer. I still have a loving heart in me to offer. And past situations have made me feel like I don't want to be in that situation. It's tough, but that's a story that me and the good Lord are going to have to go through. So we'll talk about that on a future show whenever I decide to talk about relationships or something. But let's get back to the sports. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was said that Rock will go up against Roman at Mania. Cody stepped aside I wish he wouldn't have. He should have said it was triple threat. It's tough. The Vince McMahon allegations, along with John Laurinaitis, Brock Lesnar, that's all pending right now. 9 times out of 10, all three of them are guilty. There was a talk about Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels said he did not do anything that was very, very demeaning. He said people are lying on him. Shout out to HBK. We know that he was a scumbag back in the day, but I don't know about now. He's a Christian and everything. So we'll have to see what happens with the allegations to this sex trafficking that's going on in WWE. Let me talk about Joel Embiid. He's out again. He got a torn meniscus. So sad for him, because I thought he was going to be the MVP of the game. And it looks like it's not going to happen because he's going to miss over 15 to 17 games. So I don't know who else could be it. Luka Doncic could possibly be the one now, as well as, the Joker still has a MVP talk, as well as Jalen Brunson. He should be in the MVP talk. Kevin Durant should be in the MVP talk. There's so many guys that could be involved in the MVP talk. So we'll see what happens when this goes down later on by April, May. So we'll see what happens with the MVP talk. But, I hope Joel Embiid has a speedy recovery, and I hope he comes back, Also, we heard that Zach LaVine is going to be out for the year. The Bulls need to trade him. He does not need to be in Chicago anymore. They need to figure out a way to get him out of there. But whoever trades for him, he's not going to play this season. And in one way, that's very, very healthy for the team if they decide to trade him, because they know that he's not going to be ready this year, but he should be ready next year. Zach LaVine he's not injury prone yet, but he's getting to that point where he is. And I just hope that he gets, get it together, get himself together. So I want to see what happens with him as he gets ready to go through his rehab and everything. God bless him too, as well as Joel Embiid. And as I get off of here, I want to talk about something on a side note, and I'll talk about the rest of AEW Collision tomorrow. But I want to give my condolences to the great Apollo Creed, aka Carl Weathers, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Weathers, I've watched Carl Weathers all my life, and he was the greatest Apollo Creed character there was in the game. Great actor. Action Jackson was a movie that he played with God Bless the Dead, one of Prince's Girls' Vanity. But Carl Weathers was what it was, Apollo Creed, and that's what he's known for. He was on Good Times, playing as a guy that wanted to fight JJ behind his wife. So Carl Weathers has been around for a long time, and to hear him pass, I want to give my condolences, my prayers to his family, and his friends and his fans. He will be sorely missed. The great Carl Weathers. I call him Apollo Creed, not Apollo Crews, folks, but Apollo Creed. And he's good at what he does. He's great. He was great at what he did. And shout out to him. Rest in peace to him. And on that note, I am DDE80, aka Mike D. Sunday coming up. NBA scores, NBA games, recap, AEW Collision. Tomorrow night is NXT Vengeance Day on Peacock. God bless you. God keep you. I'll be back tomorrow with a point of view. Good night.